Okay, we continue in the Mesillat Yesharim with the commentary of the Bovavi Mishkan Evner. We're on page Shin Ches at the Diamonds, and we're discussing the best way to break through those barriers that exist between you and Hashem. Whatever you could do, we said that the measuring stick as to whether something should be done or not, as opposed similarly to business, where the measuring stick is it profitable or not. So you have to have the measuring stick of what we should do to break through the barriers, and basically the question is, anything that is a means to get you closer to Hashem, that's what you should be running after, and something that can hold you back from that, something you should run away from. So we elaborated on that those things that cause you to hide from Hashem are things that eventually will get you into trouble. So now we're on the in the middle of Shin Ches. Now we have to go very deep and discriminate in the real activities of the realities of the Jewish soul. As long as the person does not have Yishuv Hadas, presence of mind, he does things without thinking very much. He doesn't think if that action he's doing will distance himself from Hashem. He doesn't even think if the action he does will bring him close to Hashem. And if he doesn't do things because they're an Aveira, and to that it says, the Pasuk, their fear of me is robotic fear. He's afraid, He's afraid not that fear doesn't come from the inner understanding that right now he recognizes that the action he's about to do will distance himself from his Creator, and therefore he should stay away from it. He does it because he's trained to not do this. He's trained to not eat treif. He's trained to eat kosher. He's not eating kosher because he's saying this is what's going to get me close to Hashem, and I'm staying away from the treif because this is going to get me far away from Hashem. Yehudi Shomer Torah mitzvahs l'yala datul insav b'chonis v'Shabbos. A Torah observant Jew will never consider driving a car on Shabbos. But not because he's thinking right now that if he goes in the car will distance himself from Hashem. That's a fear that's been implanted in him from his youth. So, but he's not considering, why to do what he's doing. The first thing a person has to do is to inspect his actions that he's doing and to see, is this thing getting me close to Hashem, or is this thing distancing me from Hashem? He has to begin to live a life of presence of mind. Yishuv Das Klomer. What do we mean by Yishuv Das? Yesh lo Adam, again, K'nei Midah. Mash Mekarvaso Labari Kafi Gidra HaTorah Kedusha Osa. Mash Machikaso Mibarach Chas V'Shalom. Bareach Umimenu Mipnei Eish. So a person has a measuring stick in terms of what he's going to do. What will bring him closer to Hashem, the way the Torah says it should be, he does. And that which distances him from his Creator, he runs away from it like he runs away from fire. But he's thinking about it. He's using that measuring stick at all times. Page Shin Tes. Once there is presence of mind, it's not necessarily going to be he's going to do what his mind is telling what he should be doing. Many times a person knows what to do but does the opposite. For example, Ishun Sigaria, someone smoking cigarettes. Person knows that smoking is hazardous to his health, but he continues to smoke. But first he has to know what's going on. At least if he knows it's hazardous, maybe one day he'll stop. But if he doesn't even know it's hazardous, he'll never stop. Eluhem Shnei Shalom. There's always two levels. V'yadat hayom, you know it today. Your mind is telling you what the truth is. Then, Pasuk says, you bring it to your heart. But if you don't have the knowledge now, you're not going to be able to turn it to your heart. Is called but first you need this knowledge now. V'yadata, what does v'yadata mean? V'yadata yom, inyano yishuv hadas. It means yishuv hadas, presence of mind. A person lives with a clear understanding throughout the day. Everybody as much as he's able to. Like a way of increasing it. He gives heart to why he's doing something, to what he's doing. He thinks, is this actually going to bring me closer to Hashem or distance me from Hashem? For example, person's approaching doing the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. He could approach that without thinking at all, anything more. He has a regular class, he comes. There's koilel there. He comes every morning. He doesn't even think, why am I going? If someone would stop and say, why are you learning now? He'll explain with great length how important is the mitzvah of learning Torah. And the world stands on the learning of Torah. I'll bring you 10 words of the rabbis that are all true. He could spit out all the Gemaras that can explain to you how important it is to learn Torah. But when he actually does begin to learn Torah in his real life, is that what he's thinking? That the goal of the learning is to have him cleave to Hashem? Or is he coming to the act without thinking at all? Person has to accustom himself to live with presence of mind. To take heart to what he is doing. Of the aspect of the end of the action has been in the thinking process way before. To remember that the goal of everything is, as David HaMelech said, and for me, being close to Hashem is good. Cleaving to Hashem. The means to get there, it's fulfilling the mitzvah in our general service to Hashem. According to all the details that are there. The goal has to be in front of his eyes all the time. And then he's got to think and remember, will these means bring him closer to the goal, or will they distance him from the goal? A person lives with this presence of mind. He checks his actions, and his speech and the thoughts, all the time. He remembers what the goal is. He thinks that these actions bring him closer to Hashem or further away from Hashem. And then begins the beginning of the difficult test. That the difficult test is only when he understands what he's supposed to do, as he will elaborate. So this is the idea. So when we said yesterday about the idea of the Esha Sota, the woman who's the unfaithful wife, and we say, how could she become so unfaithful? And we said, because there are different barriers. And she lives in the barrier of looking for other places to find her satisfaction, not in her husband. And that parallels the barriers of how Jews feel about Hashem, that they look somewhere else. The physical world seems so real. So you get involved in the physical world, forget about Hashem. So we asked, how could that happen? But what we said, number one, is they fall into that trap of falling behind the barrier. They get behind the barrier. But and that's what Vinistera means. But then, Pasuk says one more thing. It says, Ve'ed ein bo. And there is no testimony. So the Sfarim Kedoshim write, what does it mean, Eid ein bo? There's no witness. Obviously, the simple meaning is there's no witnesses to see if she transgressed or not. But Ve'ed ein bo, Api Kabbalah, the word Eid, Eidus is the same letters as Da'as. Same letters. Dalet Ayin Saf, Eidus without the Vav. Same letters, they're switched around. Now you explain, what is Eidus? What is Eidus? What is testimony? Why do you need testimony in a court? You need testimony in a court because there's information that is hidden from the judges. The judges have to judge the person who's on trial. And they have to know the information. They don't have the information. They have to make a decision. You only make a decision when somebody presents you the information. A witness is telling you, the judge, something that there was a barrier between the judge and the information, between the reality. The judge says, I don't know what to do. Someone has to come forth and give me testimony. Say, this is what happened. That information which was concealed now becomes revealed. That's what an aid does. He reveals that which is concealed. And that's exactly what Das is supposed to do, revealing that which is concealed. You look at an action, in this case here, what is the action? It's just an action. It's concealing. What is it? Is it something that's getting me closer to Hashem? Is something getting me further away from Hashem? When a person when a person is involved in doing whatever they're doing, they've gone into the world of the barrier. They've gone into the world where I can find my life somewhere else other than in HaKadosh Baruch Hu or other than in Hashem. The problem is, if they feel that way, they have not had enough edus, enough testimony, haven't used their das to really understand, Hashem is really nice to me, Hashem really loves me, and therefore what I'm doing is something that is opposing what He wants. And to begin to analyze, there's no reason for me to do this kind of behavior. Really, Hashem loves me a tremendous amount. If I would stop and see how much He loves me, and how what He's telling me to do is very important for that, to see beyond the barriers. Women should say, you know what, my husband is a good man. There's a lot of good virtues that he has. I'm so fortunate to have him. But you have to dwell on it. You have to think about those things. You have to bring those things back out into reality. There was a time when you loved him. What happened? You don't love him anymore. Well, you fell behind the barrier. You fell behind the barrier. You don't realize those virtues anymore. And instead you're looking at other things that have nothing to do with him. And therefore you're not employing your das. And that's what he's saying over here. You could be doing mitzvahs without das. You're doing your mitzvah. Why are you doing the mitzvah? I don't know. Just do it. Well, if you just do it because you do it, it doesn't bring out any sense of closeness. But then you look at other things that are very exciting, and that's what you get close to. Then it's only a matter of time till you do the Aveira. That's what we're saying over here. You have to have the das of why, to understand why is it I'm doing what I am doing, and what is the ramifications of what I'm doing. You have to bring that which is hidden. You have to reveal it. You have to say, why I'm doing this? I'm doing this because this is the will of Hashem, and this will bring me closer to Hashem. And this thing that I'm doing is going to bring me further away from Hashem. So when a person's married, they have to judge their actions. Is this action going to bring me closer to my spouse? Is it going to distance me from my spouse? Is my spouse going to be happy with this? Will I feel closer to my spouse? Do I feel closer to my spouse going with my lady friends and schmoozing for hours on end? Or will I feel closer to my spouse if I think about him? Right? That's the difference. And that's, if you're lacking that das, then it becomes nistera. Then it becomes hidden. Yeah?
I'm just thinking the beautiful thing about this mashal is that in the Sota, it's an unusual situation in the Torah where you're not even sure that she's guilty. There's just a suspicion. But the whole idea that you're saying now, Rabbi, is that the barrier itself, even if she's innocent of...
That is already a state of unfaithfulness.
Even if she was not faithful, and she was never faithful, it is the distance, it is the mister, it's that whatever she did with her husband, it was with that barrier.
That's right. You got to remove the barrier.
Even if we don't do an Aveira, it's the barrier. The barrier could stay up our whole lives. Chas v'shalom, we never do an Aveira, but the barrier stays up.
That's right.
And
That's right. That's right. So that's why you've got to have some Yishuv Hadas. That's the problem with the Eish Sota. So on page Shin Yud. Now you begin to say, okay, I've measured this, and I see this is going to get me closer to Hashem, or this is going to get me further away from Hashem. So now the real test begins. A lot of times a person wants to separate himself from something that's bad. Yeshel Nisani has a test. Sometimes he succeeds and he passes his test, sometimes he fails it. But even when he stumbles, but at least he was contending with it. At least he was fighting it. The fact that this was wrong, I shouldn't be doing this, but it's too hard for me to control myself when I'm doing it. But you tried for a minute, you thought about it, you said, no, I really shouldn't. For a couple minutes you didn't. But then you did, but at least you were fighting. Because the Yishuv Hadas showed you squarely that there was a Nisayan. And maybe for a moment you were fighting it, but then you surrendered. But Mashenke Vein Lo Yishuv Hadas, who doesn't have any presence of mind, he will certainly fall. He doesn't even think about why he's alive. Al Afshu Yadeh, even if he knows, V'im Tishol Shalom, he ask him why. He says, he'll bring you all the proofs from the rabbis. That's only up in the mind, in the back. But daily life, he doesn't think about it. Therefore, he certainly doesn't get to where he has to go. There's three parts. Aleph, Yediyah, Ma'ya Tachlis. Number one, he has to know what the goal is. The goal is closeness to Hashem. Number two, Yediyah Shekol HaMaisim, Himem Soim, Olakarv Lo, Sam Tachlis Chazon Lachi. Everything you do during the day, everything you do. And this is really just elaborating on what the Chovos HaLevavos says, the same thing. There's no neutral activities. Everything is either getting you closer to Hashem or it's getting further away from Hashem. You have to think about that. And the third point is, Gimel, to think about this every moment. Every moment. Whatever you're doing, you're cutting the grass. Is cutting the grass getting you closer to Hashem or further away from Hashem? What do you mean? How can I do either one of them? It's big. It could be a lot. It could for sure. There are people who spend hours and hours on the grass, manicuring it, making sure it's the most beautiful grass. That's going to get you far away from Hashem, because you could spend a lot of that time learning Torah. I mean, cutting the grass. I cut the grass. Okay. So it takes me half an hour. Okay. So I figure, okay, I'll get a little exercise. Even just walking back and forth is exercise. Number two, if I don't cut the grass, it's a chil Hashem. You can say, oh, the rabbi has the ugliest grass. Even if it's not a measurement of being a good person, people view it like that. View it as just a Kalachom has a stain on his jacket, he's Chayv Misa. So if you look at his grass, the grass is the ugliest grass in town. Yeah, because he doesn't have time to deal with it as much as you have time to manicure your beautiful grass. And you never end up being in shul. Right? So you have to, even cutting the grass, it can get you closer to Hashem. It can distance you from Hashem. You have to think, why am I cutting the grass? You're going to cut the grass, 20 times over the summer. You're going to spend a number of hours on it. So what's the reason? What's the reason you're doing it? What's the reason you're pulling out a weed? Right? All these things you have to consider. I have a goal in life. This action I'm doing, is it getting me closer or not? So the action clearly will get you one way or the other without discussion. But there's some, depends what you're thinking.
So that's rationalization. You try to rationalize every action you do.
Not rationalize, define.
Or even if you
Define it. Remember, your goal is to be close to Hashem.
Right.
Every action, is it getting you close to Hashem or not? So if you're thinking, then it'll depend. So let's say you're dealing with the grass, and you say, you know what, I'd like to spend the next hour manicuring the grass. I've already cut it.
So I'll decide that's what's going to get me closer to Hashem.
So manicuring.
Who's going to decide what's really good?
Well, it's pretty obvious. It's 8 o'clock. It's time to go to Mincha, and you're manicuring the grass.
That's a different story. I'm talking in the middle of the day. You're cutting the grass.
Middle of the day.
Spending hours and hours on it.
So what else? No.
I want Hashem to be pleased with my grass.
He's not pleased with your grass. Okay, Narishkeit, we're not dealing with people who don't even have any brains.
No, I know, but...
With brains. Why are you cutting the grass? If the grass needs to be cut, obviously Hashem wants me to get close to him. Now, how am I supposed to get close to him? I have to think about Hashem, how the rain, why do I have to cut the grass? Why do I have to cut the grass? Because Hashem made it rain. Oh, Hashem made it rain. Baruch Hashem. Hashem made it rain. Hashem's in control of the world. So I appreciate that He's the one that's making me cut the grass. It's not just I cut the grass because you cut the grass. So He's making me cut the grass. He wants me to cut the grass. So Hashem, I'm doing what you want me to do.
And if I don't cut the grass?
He wants you. He doesn't want you to live in a disgusting way. Just like, do I have to wash my shirt or not wash my shirt? Does Hashem want you to go with a clean shirt or not? Yes. He wants you to go with a clean shirt. He wants you to look respectable. Why? Because you're an ambassador of Hashem. The ambassador of Hashem doesn't go around like a slob. The ambassador's house does not look like a slob. It doesn't have to be a mansion. It doesn't look like a slob. You don't cut the grass the whole year and it looks like a jungle. You don't live in a jungle. You're living in a residential area. It has to look at least residential. Now, my grass is not the nicest at all, and there are weeds and things like that, but you cut them, you deal with it, and, till the next time you cut it, it looks fairly decent. You don't have to... I don't have to spend $5,000 on a suit to make sure I look the best than anybody else. You live within your means. Just saying, it's what you do with that activity will determine are you getting closer to Hashem or not. And you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, you're right. A person can fool himself and rationalize everything he does. Okay, therefore you need guidance. But you got to be thinking. The first thing is when you go out and say, is this getting me close to Hashem or not? What am I doing to make sure that it will? Those are the 3 steps. There's a goal. You got to know that every action can get you to that goal or remove from a goal. And now you got to think about it every minute and look at every action that you're doing. As Shaydis Rishonos, those first 2 aspects, a lot of people know them intellectually. But the third step, to live in that reality every moment, that's living with das. Now you have different levels between people. How often does a person think about that during the day? Then we come to the 4th step. How often does a person fulfill these words? Does he taka, now, is he doing it now that it's getting me closer to Hashem, or is he not doing it? Right? So, but if he doesn't even think about this, he's for sure not going to keep it. If he does, they'll only be out of robotic practice, but not because it's really getting him closer to Hashem. That's why when you say Shema Yisrael, right? The 3rd letter of Shema is Ayin. The first letter of the word, the last letter of Echad is Daled. Ayin Daled is 8. It's testimony. Mm-hmm. We have to testify that there's a God in this world. If you look at this world, it appears there is no God. And it depends on our testimony that He is God. So when we say the Shema, that's a testimony. But that's good but that's if you have kavanah when you're saying it. If you don't have kavanah, you're saying you don't even have witness then. But let's say you have kavanah. Okay, now take that with you. You're going to say Shema. Good. So now, what does that mean? I have to bear testimony that there is a God in this world. So that's good. Now, everything you do during the day has to be a fulfillment of that Shema. That's why you say Shema at the beginning of the day. Really, according to the halacha, the pure halacha, you should say Shema right before sunrise. And you say Shema right at the beginning of the nighttime. Why? Because at the beginning of a new period of a day, you have to start off with that clear understanding that I have to have das. I have to take every action that I do and realize, is this getting me closer to Hashem or not? Will what I do be a testimony that there's a God in this world? Or will what I do be a testimony that there is not a God in this world? And that will be determined by how close I'm feeling to Hashem when I'm doing this or not. Now that's good if you're at least thinking about it. If you're not even thinking about it, then you're really not testifying to Hashem all day long. He continues, we shouldn't forget the words of the Rosh, Rabbeinu Asher. Keep the day of death before your eyes. What does that mean? Tiras hatachlis, see the goal. Me'echanigata, where did you come from? Me'abarion, from the Creator. Le'echanata choser, where are you going to go back to? Elav, to Him. Ech tachs elav b'shlemus, how are you going to get back there in a state of perfection? Aidei kiyum haTorah mitzvahs, by doing the Torah and the mitzvahs. Adam psarach lisraga lichas kach. A person has to get himself used to, train himself to live this way. And you start with, start with 1 minute of the day. Start for 1 minute. Live that way for 1 minute. For 1 minute in a day, remember what the goal is. Then you're going to remember that the means, everything we do. The feelings, the thoughts, any of the strength of the soul. Either they bring you closer to Hashem, to the goal, or they distance you. Then he'll contend with what he has to do at this point. Start with 1 minute. And continue another minute. As you keep going, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Everybody, as far as you can go until the day you die. How long does he live with presence of mind? So even for 1 minute. It's for 1 minute. Right before you put your tefillin on. Maybe the best minute is right when you finish this class. Should be the first minute. Should be the first minute. Okay, for the next minute, what am I about to do? You're about to put tefillin. Why am I putting on this tefillin? Because it's a mitzvah. So why is it a mitzvah? Because a mitzvah brings you closer to Hashem. So putting on these tefillin is going to get me closer to Hashem. So I'm thinking, I am putting these tefillin on because for reasons that I don't understand, the mitzvah is getting me closer to Hashem. My neshama is feeling closer to Hashem. Why I don't feel it? Because there's a lot of barriers still. And you're done. You did it for 1 minute. And then you put the tefillin on, knowing that was getting you closer to Hashem. That's it. You don't have to do it anymore the rest of the day. That was good. It's too much already. You're going to get a headache from this. All right? Yeah? Do that for a week. Okay. Every week you add a minute. Over a year you're up to an hour. And in 15 years you'll have that for the whole day. That's okay. We all hope to live at least another 15 years. So by the time you come to the end, you'll every day, every minute, you're thinking about it. And even when you're thinking about it, and let's say, make a mistake, okay, so you'll know you made the mistake. He's going to talk about that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's continue. At the bottom of the page. The tzaddikim, the righteous one who stand up against the test. Don't you think they have any battles too? Of course they have battles. As the rabbis say, anyone who's bigger than his friend, he has a bigger Yetzirah. Mesechus Zorim says, B'shas Yetzirah leis l'midkar leYetzer Tov. When the Yetzirah is strong, no one's thinking about the Yetzer Tov. Harvey Palming, next page. Many times when a person comes to a test, he doesn't even remember what the goal is. He doesn't even know he's in a test. He runs. Mashkiach forgets himself. Like an ostrich who sticks his head into the ground. The highest level is when there's the test, he has to remember the goal. He has to remember what are the means. There's still a test. Like the story with Rav Amram and the Kedushin. Says what to contend with. He might be successful, may not be successful. But even when he's having the test at that moment, he remembers the goal is for me to be close to Hashem. That's what's good.
What's the story?
I don't remember offhand. He remembers that this means if he does this not properly, he'll distance himself. Now he at least has the strength, perhaps, to stand up against the test. We say in the davening, right in the beginning of the standing brachas, in the long bracha, we say, Al Tivienu lo l'din Hashem, don't bring me to a test. So what does that mean? What does it mean not to? But the whole life is a test. What do you mean don't come to test? If I'm not tested, how do I prove myself? Being tested is life. So I can say, don't bring me to a test. So the pshat is, there's a test, there's a type of test person doesn't even know he's being tested. That's the hardest test. That's when you always fail, because you don't even realize you're being tested. You don't even realize you're being tested. Can make an analogy to the following. A person's going to buy an apartment. He doesn't know that the guy who's selling to him is a dishonest crook. He's selling a piece of land that doesn't belong to him. You don't even know. You're going to fall. You're going to buy the wrong piece of property, lose all your money. He doesn't know to be careful. If you know the guy's a swindler, if he can be careful from him. Like Yaakov said to Lavan, I'm a brother to him in robbery. If you think Lavan is really a white squeaky clean guy, he's holy, you're relying on him with blind eyes. And therefore we say, Hashem, don't bring us to tests that we don't realize are even tests. Don't bring a test to me that I don't know is a test, because then I know I will fail. And if you look at that whole bracha, that's the context of that bracha. That's part of the standing brachas as you're starting off your day. After you've thanked Hashem, if you really think about it, all these brachas, you're first coming to a hakara of das, yeshiva das. Look at all the blessings I have. The fact I can get up, the fact I can see, the fact I have clothes, blah, 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 blah. You give me strength. You remove the slumming from my eyes. But first we say, it should be your will, Hashem. You should help me be accustomed to learning Torah, but even though I'm accustomed, I still cleave to your mitzvahs. Don't bring me to a sin. Don't bring me to an avera, and not to nisayan, and not to bizayon. Don't bring me to nisayan that I don't realize it's nisayan. And therefore you got to keep me away from bad people, bad friends. Have me cleave to the Yetzer Tov. It's all that same idea. It's all there. To always what? And force my inclinations to want to subjugate themselves to you. Right? That's what you're saying. You want to be mindful the entire day. That's what the bracha is saying. You want to have mindfulness. Right? That's what you want to have. That I should be alert. To be able to have yishuv hadas. That's what the bracha is saying. Imkein habasis shalav benuya kol avoda. Therefore, the basis of all our service with what? Yishuv hadas b'chaleis l'shas. Having yishuv hadas at all times. Shalom yisker ma'atach. He has to remember what his goal is. Yisker samsayim ma'makarvim rachim. To remember what are the means that bring you closer, distance you. Then begins the beginning point of the true test. Are we going to fulfill it or not? Are we going to maintain it, or are we going to subjugate ourselves to the Yetzer that tries to overcome us? At least we know when we are failing. Doesn't mean you're going to succeed. You might still fail. Even if you're thinking about it. I know I shouldn't do this. I know this is wrong. I know I should go to this year. But I'm not going. Even tzaddikim make a mistake. But they made a mistake out of presence of mind. Therefore you can stand out with the Gemara and Brachas is very clear now. If you see a Talmud Chacham did an Aver at night, the Gemara says, Al taharher achar v'yom. Don't suspect him in the daytime. Shavari Yashachuv. You can be sure he's done teshuva already by now. Why? How do you know he did teshuva? The answer is Kigam b'shash shechata rachman. Even when he sinned, he had das. The Yetzer Hara overcame him. Aval kishechata by Yetzer nichlash. But after he sinned, and then the Yetzer Hara quiets out. The Yetzer Hara isn't strong. It's only strong to get you to that vera. After that vera, you go, "Oy, what happened?" Miyadu v'naslashu. Right away, he tries to do tshuva. Because his das is there all the time. When a person sins, his das is hidden. It's v'nistara. It's hidden. Even after he sins, he's still hidden. The hope, the potential to go back to tshuva is very weak. The tzaddik knows when he's doing something wrong. Since he knows he's doing something wrong, he's quick to want to fix it up. Because he knows there was a struggle, and he knows he did the wrong thing. Many people don't think they've done the wrong thing. They don't think of what am I about to do, good or bad. It's going to get me close to Hashem or not. Doesn't think about it. Then he did something that took him away from Hashem. Doesn't even think about it. So why should he do tshuva on it? He didn't think about it when he did it. When the tzaddik, he thought about it. Couldn't overcome it. Okay, couldn't overcome it. But then the Yetzer Hara weakens after you do the Aver. And you say, well, my God, how could I have done this? Then he does tshuva. To look at him differently. That's a person who works with Yishuv Hadas, which is the basis of everything we're talking about over here. Having that Yishuv Hadas is incredibly important. Okay. Continuing the words of the Mesillat Yesharim now. Uke'idin shneimar, as it says in Tehillim, Dovka nafshi acharecha, my soul cleaves after you. Bi tomcha yiminecha, his right hand supports me. Meaning, Kavan should be Yasal Olam Eina Elo Tachlis Haseh. Since you're coming into the world is only for this goal, to cleave to Hashem, then Al Hasig Es HaKurva Hazos, to achieve this closeness, B'malto Nafshe Mikol Monem Hasideh, and therefore his soul has to run away from all the things that hold him back. So that's Mesillat Yesharim. So explains the Lavavi. Dovka Nafshe Acharecha, my soul cleaves after you. Yesh Adam Shemash Dovak Esel B'Bari Olam Hu HaSeichel. There are those people that which he clings to Hashem is through the intellect. This is all based on what the Rambam says. That intellect that Hashem pours into us from Him, that connects us between us and between Him. That's one way. But there's three parts to a person. Again, Aleph, Yadat Hayom, you know it today. B, Vashavos Levecha, bring it into your heart. Gimel, Shigam Alev, Shigam Amoach, Nimshayim B'Osam Madrega, that the heart and the mind are on the same page. You're feeling this way. First, the person knows in his mind. Certainly, if you don't, it's got to be in your mind, or you can't begin to serve Hashem. But he's not there. His heart is not where his mind is. Like a person wants to get to a place. I'm thinking to get there. He's not there yet. When the Rambam says that the intellect, the brain, is the power that gets you close to Hashem, don't be fooled. That's only, it means only when you take what the brain says and puts it into the heart. Then you'll cleave to Hashem both in heart and mind. What Rambam meant to say is not just intellectually, but without intellect you'll never be close to Hashem. Cleaving to Hashem just in the mind is not cleaving. But a person really has closest to the heart. Obviously, it's close to the heart, it has to come through the brain. There's no dvekus that only comes from the brain. So the pasuk that David said, Dovka nafshi acharecha, my nefesh cleaves after you. Like those who love people. Love is found in the heart. But if a person loves, he thinks about it always. And therefore you will cleave even through the mind. But that's all in the condition that the heart is found in a situation of love, shalachtus, with unity, shaltvekus b'bari olam, with cleaving to Hashem. Hadvekus b'bari olam, matchila me'etzem kach shadam yedea ma'tachlis. This dvekus to Hashem begins when a person knows what the goal is. Yedea ma'im ha'msem shemevim. He knows what are the things that bring you there. He tries very hard to be careful to not do the things that distance himself, but run after things that brings him close. But then he comes with God's help with purity of heart. When a person has purity of heart, then certainly his brain comes close to Hashem. Next page, Gimel. Because when a person loves someone, he doesn't have to make efforts to think about them. But it's natural to think about someone that you love. As long as your brain has to keep working and making it happen, says Shimon, that's not coming from a pure heart. If you have to say, okay, I better come to davening. I know I have to come. I have to force myself to love Hashem. That means you're not naturally loving Him. But it's coming from a breaking avoda that he has to think about that. We're not negating this. It's still on the way. It hasn't reached the goal. In other words, if you really love Hashem, it's not going to be a struggle. The proper fashion of being clean to Hashem is when the person really loves the reality of God. He loves his Father in heaven. If he loves Him, he thinks about Him. Therefore, he wants to continually connect Him. And therefore, he's afraid to distance himself from Him. This is the true yira that we're talking about. To always be thinking about Hashem, to always wanting to be close to Hashem. And therefore, that's what you naturally want. You're always going to be careful. Every single thing. That's why you're machmer on yourself, and you're happy being machmer on yourself. I don't want to do something that could hurt Hashem. I don't do something that could be an aver. We close with the last words in Mesillat Yesharim of this chapter. Once this rule becomes clear, now you inspect every detail according to their levels, from beginning to end. As Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair himself arranged the order, as he said in the beginning, which is Sehirus, Shrizus, Nekius, Precious, Tarach, Hasidus, Anova, Yiras Hachet, etc., etc. I'm going to explain each one of them. He said, up to this point we explained what man's purpose is in this world, what his obligation is, my tachlis, what's the goal. And everything in this world is a means to that goal. Now that's what he's accomplished in this book so far. Now the Ramchal is going to show you the ladder, what it looks like. How you go up step by step. These are the steps of the Bryce of Pinchas ben Yair. But the end of an action has to be in the thought process to begin with. Before you're going to do anything, the goal has to be clear to you. And then you could look at everything you do. I'll call us on the entire ladder. That thereby he can reach the goal, the ultimate goal of connecting to Hashem, and that is the end of the first section of this book.